brothers and sisters, soldiers and soldierettes. And this is another edition of EBX Discussion. And thank you, much appreciation. And if you alive and breathing, as I always say, we are back to conquer another day. Because remember, brothers and sisters, there are always those bodies that laid to rest, but their spirit will live on. Especially those that were righteous. Those who were evil, I don't know what's going to happen to them. Not my concern. My concern is the righteous brothers and sisters that fought to get a lot of us in the state that we are in. And I give honor to our ancestors whose powerful presence in spirit is alive here in the present. I meant to say is with many of us high vibrational brothers and sisters and anyone in our families that we held dear. That transition, may they rest in peace and in power. And may all of our loving families prosper and everything we touch turn to gold. And I know everybody doing great. Like I said, if you alive and breathing, we doing great. And thank you for riding along. As I always say, my subscribers, those who've been commenting, it's wonderful. It's amazing how when you're going through your levels and the different things you experience in your life, when you really got your eyes open and paying attention, it's a beautiful thing. And as I always say, folks, we're always learning, right? So it's a continuous process, which leads me to Father Time. And we're going to talk a little bit about Father Time and being firm like an oak tree, and you already know. We'll get into the definition of it and break it down and get a good gist of it, get a good idea so we get down in that subconscious in our spirits and we really know what it is. And I do these from time to time because, like I've said, and so many other reachers and teachers, salute, have said, we're in a time where things move so fast. So we take moments and slow down. And I always say this is another one of those meditative moments. Now, we're going to touch on Father Time. And, I'm going to read a little summary of it. Father Time, we already know Father Time will be good to you depending on what we do in our time. And I'm speaking hypothetic because those of us that are divine, we're on divine time. But we're just going to talk about the regular definition of time. Time, the indefinite continued process of existence and events in the past, present, and future, regarded as a whole. Travel through space and time. We can do this in our mind, travel through space and time. And I'm going to read another little summary. The personification of time, typically as the old man with a scythe, and I looked that up what that is, and hourglass. Now, a scythe, I don't know why that was in that definition, but I looked it up. A scythe is a blade you use to chop down, like when you're in a tall weeds and use it to chop the weeds down. That's what a scythe is. And that was in that definition. But I guess that's part of it. I'm going to read it again. This is the second one. The personification of time, typically as an old man with a scythe, that's how you pronounce it, and an hourglass. Noun, Father Time. I guess that's another description. But, a personification of time. What is your perception of time? How do we use our time? Not that we're perfect. A lot of us, we might do things sometimes we think we might have wasted time on, but if we're aware, we know, but to be able to have Father Time be good to us, whether brother or sister, we have to pay attention to time, right? We have to watch our thoughts, what it say, travel through space and time, not a lot of us, well, some of us aren't aware like that, where we even think about things like that. That's why we take time, to ourselves to meditate to just think about things sometimes. And you'll be surprised what will come up in our thoughts, But we have to take times, meditative times to ourselves. And while we're taking time to ourselves and meditating and thinking about things that's important to keep us strong, and, not just with ourselves and our loved ones, no matter what person, place, or thing, what perception they have of us. This is why we take moments to ourselves away from the noise. And once we take time, yes, and take time, because in this life sometimes we have to take time for ourselves to keep ourselves sustained. Sometimes those on the outside, person, place, or thing, might not overstand, understand, or understand. But if you're doing it for the betterment of yourself, so you can help those you're connected to, take that time to yourself from time and time again. This will keep yourself sharp, keep yourself strong, keep yourself thinking. And then once we take time, then we start being on divine time. Because once we are connected to that great divine, higher force, greater creator, truly connected from the soul, from the heart, to the pit, to the bottom, as I always say, nothing can stop that. Now, will we do everything perfect? Of course not. Will we make mistakes? Sure we will. And do we think we're perfect? No. But we are striving to be right. We are striving to have perfect intentions. A lot of ways, individuals that are riding and vibing on a high vibration, a lot of us move in ways that some individuals just don't understand, and that's okay. It's a part of life. Not everybody's going to think the same. Not everybody's going to be on the same wavelength. That's just a part of life. But we keep ourselves centered, brothers and sisters, that's striving to be great and be right as we possibly can. We stay rooted, in what we know, in our principles, be accountable for any mistakes we might make, and keep it moving, And sometimes, we're going to have disagreements with, maybe significant other or friends or, sometimes. And it's nothing to get us all worked up. We work through it the best way we can, and not wish hate or have hate for each other, anything like that. And sometimes things just don't work out. Sometimes that's just how time is. It's not the way it's not situations that happen. It's how we handle situations, and Father Time, it really will be good to us when we're good to oneself, and we try our best to be good to everyone else, because we're not going to do everything perfect, but we have good intent in our heart. Things will always work out, even when it look like it don't. That's why we have to take times to ourselves and let that Father Time talk to us, as well as Mother Nature, because we always talk about Mother Nature. So I thought I would talk about Father Time. Father Time has been good to so many of us. It just depends on how we invest in that time. And I'm talking about oneself too. And it's something I wanted to clarify. When I do my podcast and videos, these are also for me. It's self-therapy. It's good for the listeners too, because it's beautiful. We should always try to help someone. And I try to do this in my physical life too, not just speaking. But, things happen. No one's perfect, but we can't always be fixated on that. I hate even saying that so much. We strive to be, when we're trying to be as good as we possibly can, Father Time will show up in our lives. Father Time will always be good to us and those we are connected to, because the more wiser we get, the more levels we get up into in our age, we will begin to see things for what they are and not taking things personal or taking back. And that's the beautiful thing about being true and being one with oneself and that higher force. It's a beautiful thing. Helps you to see through so many so-called storms, and just to stay connected to that higher force. My soldiers and soldierettes, salute. Father Time will always be good to us, and stand firm. If you're good and you're right within, you stand firm like an oak tree. Be firm like an oak tree, which a lot of us are. And you already know, oak tree is the strongest tree of all. So, I'm always reading stuff, and of course I had to look that up too. And we're gonna read the definition of And this is a lot of us out here, even ones that don't think they are. Like I always say, what will let you know that you are a strong individual, whether you're a brother or a sister? Think of all the great things that you have conquered and things that you are conquering. I'm gonna stop right there. Now we're gonna read this definition. The strongest oak tree of the forest is not the one that is protected from the storm and hidden from the sun. It's the one that stands in the open, where it is compelled to the struggle for its existence against the winds and rains and the scorching sun. No matter what, no matter what comes at us, no matter what perception, person, place, or thing have of us. If you have right within, you keep doing right. Let nothing discourage you. Stay strong, and always keep in mind, I have to say this a lot because this reminds myself too. Remember, this is self-therapy. All of us have been through some kind of condition, and I'm going to stop right there. So that's what keeps us understanding those that we are connected to, whether it's children, significant other, everybody's thought pattern is different. Everyone has come up through their families a little different way and think different. Sometimes we just have to kind of back up. Don't make things worse. We still stay in there with our loved ones. Just kind of observe a little bit and understand what the other individual might be going through. And that's one thing I do have within me. But, we have to find some kind of common ground. We have to be balanced. It can't be one individual's being logical and the other one's going off feelings, and emotions, because we know how emotions and feelings can go. No, we have to think about the things that are important, not just think about things that's just for ourselves. That's the reward of life. That's how you get the blessings. When you try your best to be a great brother or sister and stand firm like that oak tree, no matter what. And we all know those that have been riding and vibing high on this level forever, for decades, been wrapped up and invested so much in spirituality, can't be knocked off. No such thing as a storm. And those who stand firm like an oak tree, the strongest oak tree, the strongest tree, it stands in the struggle. It stands in the storm. It withstands the winds and the rains, and the rains, so-called storms. A lot of us have withstand this. So don't let things have you complaining and discourage you. You are strong, brother or sister, young or old. You wouldn't be here today if it wasn't meant for you to be here. Don't let certain little things get us down, and this is, I'm talking, like I said, this is for me too. We have to keep doing things to strengthen oneself. This is why I do these little podcasts. This is why I take moments to do this. These are the thoughts I have when I'm not on the microphone. So if I'm having good, positive, powerful thoughts, why not share them? But, we share them to anyone we can, children, family, significant other. But if you're not receiving and you're wrapped up in your feelings and only what you won't see that bigger picture. And that's what makes for a very self-aware, open, righteous, educated brother and sister. When we're not getting wrapped up in our feelings and our emotions, and be logical about things and just try our best to keep ourselves rising up as we stay firm like an oak tree, and always remember the great things, the way that how good Father Time has been to so many of us, as well as Mother Nature. And like I say, I'm not one that does everything perfect. A lot of times when I'm speaking, I'm having challenges as I speak. But, this is why one should do things like this. And again, it's not just speaking on YouTube. I'm talking about just taking moments to oneself from time to time to work things out so we can keep ourselves from overreacting on things and understanding others, whether it's children, family, significant other, and keep ourselves rooted, strong, like an oak tree. Because, I always have to keep ourselves in anticipation mode. You hear me say that a lot. And, just think about an oak tree. Think about the years that it has been standing. Think about all the things that it fought through in Father Time. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters out here like this within my family, outside my family. You know, my children's mothers, they're very strong. And my children, they're good. I got stepkids also. I'm talking, when I say children, I mean all of them. My biological children and my children I've spiritually adopted, so to speak. And is there things that I could change and do, whether with significant other and children? Yes, there's always things we can do to make ourselves better. I will never stand here and say I'm the best parent or the best father in the world and I'm the most perfect. Yeah, right. There's always going to be different things that we have to change in ourselves at the more levels we rise, and but long as we don't got wrong intent and we really do mean well in our heart, Father Time will always be good to us. Just stand firm like an oak tree. If you got right within, if you got evil, malice, and you're looking to do wrong, and okay, then that's on you. That karma, you can sit in the corner and have a talk with karma. But if you do things, if you make mistakes, but you had good intent, it's nothing. Don't ever let nothing hinder you. If you mean well, let nothing stop you. Always go to that quiet place and keep your mind straight so you can sustain oneself. Because there are always going to be those we are connected to, no matter how much solitude we take, especially if we have children. And I have plans in play because I'm one of those brothers. I like to connect. I like to communicate. I love my family, love brothers and sisters. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just one of those brothers. I don't always talk about what I'm going to do. I meditate on it. I think about it. And then I just put it into action, because a lot of times, and I don't know if other brothers and sisters experience this. Sometimes I think, and I'll say for myself, this is just me, not nobody else. Sometimes I think we'll gas ourselves up and say, yeah, I'm going to do this and do that without even thinking about it. Then the time comes and we don't do it. So I've broken that habit of not, don't even just think about it. Don't even say what I'm going to do until I do it and then discuss it. So that's another one of those learning things. Like I say, when you're riding and vibing on a high vibration, it's a continuous process. It's an adventure. We're always learning. So I'm learning to, that's why I say I love communicating and connecting. But the most vital things that plans that one does have set in place, I want to just do it and not say what I'm going to do. I'm breaking that habit, that habit. I'm going to kill that habit. They talking about habits die hard. That habit finna get killed. I'm killing that habit, just like many other habits that I have killed. Not killed, and really killed, but you know what I mean. The habit is gone, done. I've stood firm like so many other brothers and sisters out here. Salute, my children, their mothers, have stood firm like an oak tree. Don't let little things get us down. Think of the great things that we have done. Think of the great things that we are doing. Stand firm. Look at how Father Time has been so great to so many of us. We can't get down and out and get downtrodden. We got to do things to keep our spirits lifted, whatever it is, and hold on to it. If it makes you happy, if it makes you feel pure within, if it makes you feel great, if it makes you want to give love to others, hold on to that. Don't hold on to it. Stick to it. Stay with it. Stick to it like glue. Anything that keeps you whole, centered, and great, knowledgeable, and not letting things hinder you or stop you from being the great brother and sister that you are, that we are. It's in all of us. Some of us just don't take the time to find it. It's in there. We all have great divine abilities, melanated brothers and sisters. I see it all the time. And I'm not just talking about movie stars on TV. I'm not talking about that either. I'm talking about individuals that we don't see in the limelight that are some of the greatest, best heroes. And I'll say my children's mothers, my youngest 7-year-old, his mom, I've said this before, she is a real live hero. I have to, even if we're not getting along or we're not talking, I'm still going to keep that good energy, because again, folks, what did I say a few minutes ago? When we know the conditioning that each other has been through, we will begin to understand. And I'm saying that to say, no matter me and her are not agreeing, we have a child together, and I know what she's been through in her life, and I will still be there as much as I can. I'm like I say, not the best brother in the whole wide world, but the divine knows one's heart, and I know one's heart. And when you got a right heart, don't you you stand firm like an oak tree. Don't you let nothing in this world, person, place, or thing, take that away from you. If you have that peace, if you know you have right within, let nothing, no devil, nothing take that away from you. Because we have fought too hard, some of us, especially me, to get to a mental state. It's not easy to sustain a mental state and keep your mind straight, especially with all this stuff going on in this world. It's not easy. So for those that do have a good mindset and are able to, not let entities in and able to withstand the winds and the rains, be thankful. Be very thankful. Father Time has been good to you. You have stood firm like a what? Oak tree. And it's unfortunate that some brothers and sisters don't have this ability. That's why it's good to have real like-minded reachers and teachers out here to give that energy, to give encouragement, to know that you can have a strong mental state and body. You just have to invest in it and things to keep you strong, things to keep you positive. Once you become logical and analytical and you can understand things, the stress level will be low or no stress at all. Remember, folks, I will say this from time to time, stress is a root of all sickness. Be logical about everything. And I always say, we go to that great divine. And where's that great divine? At the core, in the center, the pit of the soul, underneath all the crap. Once you get through all that and get to that, you be like, okay. And, because when you're very, very self-aware, it's just the blinders will be gone. You'll see things, and it's beautiful to get to that space, but it's not easy. We have to go there to get there, and once we're there, when we know our true power, we use our powers for good, not to hurt no one, not to manipulate no one, try to understand, and understand each other as much as we can. And look up Father Time, look it up for yourself, and Oak Tree. It's good to read things because it gets into your subconscious. You see it on paper. It's like it's right there. Writing is good. Keeps your mind sharp, So that's what I had in my spirit. And I wanted to read this definition of oak tree again. And I hope what I said motivate you, those that might be having, maybe some kind of challenge with your significant other. Stay in there. Be smart about it. Be intelligent about it. Don't let your wrong emotions take over. Really think about the other significant other, what they're going through. Sometimes we just have to be the bigger person, and that great divine will work it all out. Stand firm like an oak tree. The strongest oak tree of the forest is not the one that is protected from the storm and hidden from the sun. It is the one that stands in the open, where it's compelled to struggle for its existence against the winds and rains and the scorching sun. And sometimes in our lives, we already know it could be a lot of wind, it can be a lot of rain. But if you study oneself and you've learned anticipation, and you always keep this in mind, this is a centering mechanism that a lot of us need to have. We all have been through some kind of conditioning. So that will make you stand firm like an oak tree. And, when we having a disagreement, whether it's brother or sister or a significant other, really see where it's coming from. If they're acting a certain way, if we're not on the same wavelength or whatever, just step back for a minute, because you can't see the elephant if you're standing too close, right? Step back, see why the other individual may be acting a certain way or thinking a certain way, as well as ourselves. We assess ourselves too. Then we assess others. And things will be somewhat smooth like this. Always got to be connected to that logic, you know. Don't go with our emotions. Don't react off nothing, you know. It's all about action. You know, I've learned this from a great brother. And, you know, read things, study things about, you know, relationships and family and children. You know, again, like I say, I'm not an expert. I'm just looking to learn, looking to grow, and we're always learning. And life experiences, when you pay attention, can be your best teacher, you know, because I always say, whether we want to learn or not, life will teach us. And that goes for me too. So just stay strong out there and think of the great things that Father Time has done for us in our lives, as well as Mother Nature, that great creator. And keep studying things about oneself, our children, families, significant other. Do everything we can to keep our mental state strong. You know, let nothing penetrate a righteous heart or a divine mind. You know, that divine did bring us this far to stop. And that goes for anyone listening, my family, significant other, my children, my children's mothers, you know, brothers and sisters, everybody. You know, stay strong, stay rooted, you know. Remember, the oak tree is the strongest tree of all. Can withstand many seasons. And guess what? We can too, brothers and sisters, and we have. And how do I know this? Because we are alive and breathing, and we are back to conquer another day and another day and another day. We can triumph every day. It's all up to us. So I will always motivate, even in the midst of going through my challenges. You know, I'm still going to be positive. That's what it's all about. You know, it's not escaping nothing. It's not getting away from nothing. Like I said, self-therapy is the best. It's the best thing one can do for oneself. And then we share it to others. You know, that's what it's all about. Lifting oneself and lifting the mass, you know, as much as we can. So that's my thought. And like I say, be strong like an oak tree and think of the great times that Father Time has given us and always will. So appreciate Father Time, my brothers and sisters. And I salute to the reachers and teachers out there that's doing their thing. Salute. May you all, and this brother or sister, the real ones, have a prosperous life. And thank those that came in to another edition of EBX Discussion. I will always appreciate you, and may you have gold in your life and pass it on to your families. And I honor your family, and I honor my family. Salute. I honor my children, their mothers, brothers and sisters all over the world. May you have the ultimate peace in your part of the world, wherever you are right now. One. And I got to give a salute